Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the BFA class review series. My name is Mr. Couchy, and I will lay out for you some of the changes affecting Enhancement Shaman going forward into Battle for Azeroth. Although we are close to the end of beta, some of this is still subject to change, so don't take everything said here as law. Enhancement in Legion felt like a roller coaster. In the beginning they were shite, no other way to put it. Enhancement during Helya required a mixture of all your AoE talents turned on, while trying to keep up every other temporary buff was just messy, and in the end they found their way. Enhancement worked its way to the top of the single target raid encounter in Entoris, and found a nice place around mid-pack for every other. They felt comfortable when you got procs and slightly jarring when you didn't. Terrible for Mythic Plus, great for raids. Let's see if this is changing going forward. Tremor Totem and Capacitor Totem have been made baseline for all Shaman specs. Tremor Totem summons an Earth Totem with 5 health at the foot of the caster that shakes the ground around it for 10 seconds, removing fear, charm, and sleep effects from party and raid members within 30 yards. Capacitor Totem, formerly Lightning Surge Totem, summons a totem at the target location that gathers electrical energy from the surrounding air and explodes after 2 seconds, stunning all enemies within 8 yards for 3 seconds. Cooldown changed from 45 seconds to a 1-minute cooldown. Storm Lash has been removed. This never really felt like it did anything. It was completely passive and didn't really need to be there. Crash Lightning electrocutes all enemies in front of you, dealing nature damage. Hitting 2 or more targets enhances your weapons for 10 seconds, causing Storm Strike and Lava Lash to also deal nature damage to all targets in front of you. Each target hit by Crash Lightning increases the damage of your next Storm Strike by 5%. This amalgamation of the Gathering Storm trait is a very good change. Flame Tongue, Frostbrand, and Rockbiter had their range changed from 10 yards to 20 yards, giving them a little bit of range. Stormbringer, your weapon attacks have a 5% chance to reset the remaining cooldown on Storm Strike and cause it to deal 25% increased damage. Its cost 100% less Maelstrom and trigger no cooldown. Storm Strike, you energize both your weapons with lightning and deliver a massive blow to your target, dealing physical damage. The cost changed to 30 Maelstrom and cooldown changed to 9 seconds. This is huge, boys. Huge. Wind Fury, Lightning Bolt, Lava Lash, and Healing Surge have all had minor number of wording changes. Some of your talents have been changed. Ancestral Swiftness, Empowered Stormlash, Rainfall, Tempest, Voodoo Totem, and Windsong have all been removed. This was a mix of never taken or kinda boring talents. Nothing here is going to make me lose sleep. Earth Shield protects the target with an Earthen Shield, increasing your healing on them by 10% and healing them for an amount whenever they take damage. It lasts 10 minutes, and this heal can only occur once every few seconds and only on one target at a time. Elemental Spirits reduces the cooldown of Feral Spirits by 30 seconds and causes your Feral Spirits to be imbued with Fire, Frost, or Lightning, enhancing your abilities. This ability looks so fucking cool and adds some dynamism to your spec based on the buff provided, similar to Wildfire Infusion on the Survival Hunter. Nature's Guardian, when your health is brought below 35%, you instantly heal for 20% of your max health. Cannot occur more than once every 45 seconds, and this can work as a semi-cheat death unless you take crushing damage. Searing Assault, your Flame Tongue now causes the target to burn for fire damage over 6 seconds. Spirit Wolf, while transformed into a Ghost Wolf, you gain 5% increased move speed and 5% damage reduction every second, stacking up to 4 times. Static Charge reduces the cooldown of Capacitor Totem by 5 seconds for each enemy hit, up to a maximum reduction of 20 seconds. Totem Mastery summons 4 totems that increases your combat capabilities for 2 minutes. Resonance, the totem generates 1 Maelstrom every second. Storm Totem increases the damage of Storm Strike by 5%. Ember Totem increases Lava Lash damage by 10%. And Tailwind Totem increases your chance to trigger Wind Fury by 10%. Forceful Winds, Wind Fury causes your successive Wind Fury attack within 15 seconds to increase the damage of Wind Fury by 100% and the Maelstrom generated by 1, stacking up to 5 times. Imagine if we still had Doom Winds from Legion. Oh. Ascendance has changed and now reduces the cooldown and cost of Storm Strike by 66%, which is a slight but somewhat acceptable nerf. Usually during this time you'd get so many procs that you wouldn't even have enough time to hit them all anyway. Earthen Spike summons an Earthen Spike under your target, dealing physical damage, and increasing physical and nature damage you deal by 20% instead of 30% for 10 seconds. Landslide, Rockbiter has a 20% chance to increase the damage of your next storm strike within 10 seconds by 100%. A classic ability has returned and we welcome it with open arms. Lightning Shield. Surround yourself with a shield of lightning for an hour. Melee attackers suffer nature damage, and when you deal or take melee damage, you add a charge to your shield. When you storm strike, it gains 2 charges. At 15 charges, the shield overcharges, causing nature damage with each attack, and generates 100 Maelstrom over 10 seconds. And finally, Sundering. You shatter a line of earth in front of you with your main hand, causing flame strike damage and incapacitating any enemy hit for 2 seconds. Most of your other talents are either unchanged or have minor number or wording changes. But that's it, so how does it feel? Blizzard have gone on record at this point in time stating that they aren't too happy with the mechanics of the Enhancement Shaman currently. It's a little too spammy or barely hitting anything at all. It's similar to how Frost Mage worked in Legion, though at least Frost had more than one kind of proc it could receive. I personally still think it's okay. The changes with Lightning Shield, Landslide, Forceful Winds, and Spirit Wolf really help smooth out the RNG and make it fun to play. The animations still look great and it isn't boring at all. I'm hopeful and excited when it gets spiced up. How did you think Enhancement felt in Legion, and how do you think it will perform in BFA? Tell me what you think in the comments below. Thanks for sticking around, like and subscribe, and in case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.